From Lagos, the nation's commercial capital, this is the News at 10. Live from Channels Television. Reporting tonight, Ayotunde Balogun.
Hello and welcome tonight. Edo State Governor Monday Okpebholo draws the line, says he will probe his predecessor, Godwin Obaseki. This is coming 24 hours after the Supreme Court affirmed him as the duly elected governor. Some elder statesmen under the aegis of the Patriots indicate that they will convene a national conference this month to discuss restructuring of Nigeria and birth a new constitution. Minister of Solid Minerals Development, Dele Alake, set to reform the mining sector, hints that the federal government will go after state governments meddling in mining activities. And U.S. President Donald Trump and his wife Melania visit flood-ravaged Central Texas, where 120 people were killed last week.
On business news tonight, Nigeria's stock market posts 3.464 trillion naira gain in 5 days, as its benchmark performance indicator reaches historic highs in 2 consecutive days.
On sports news tonight, Yannick Sinner crashes Novak Djokovic in straight sets to reach his first Wimbledon final against defending champion Carlos Alcaraz on Sunday.
And from the nation's capital, the Minister of Information meets information commissioners, tasked them to take the renewed hope message to the grassroots.
Still basking in the euphoria from his election triumph at the highest court in the land, with cheers from loyal supporters and various groups, the wheel of governance is swiftly rolling for the Edo State Governor, Monday Okpebholo, as attention turns to the activities of the immediate past government anytime from now. Interestingly, Governor Okpebholo has vowed to probe his predecessor, Godwin Obaseki, over allegations of misappropriation of funds from the state treasury during his 8-year tenure. Governor Okpebholo, who made the pledge during a reception in his honor at the government house in Benin City, insists a panel of inquiry will be set up and the whole process will be made public.
I want to thank Edo again. I want to thank the people of Edo again for shining their eyes, for not yielding to temptation of money. Because Edo were tired of transactional people, thieves. But let me tell you good news. We are going to look into their record. I'm not going to take more than 2 years. I will take just 2 years out of the whole 8 years. And they will cry. That way, not going back. We will set up Commission of Inquiry. We will do open interrogation. The whole world will see it. So they have finished fighting. I was waiting for them to finish their own before I start. I want to make a request. Very simple request. 2027, I have promised 2.5 million votes. Are we ready? Are we ready? Yes! So by the grace of God, I Sewaju all the way. They say follow who may road. When I Aseraju came into Lagos, things started changing. He bring one governor, he brought another one. Go to Lagos now, it's like America.
The Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Communications, Office of the Vice President, Mr. Stanley Kwacha, says the remark made by Vice President Kashim Shettima at the book launch of the former Attorney General of the Federation, Mr. Mohammed Adoke, was taken out of context. Mr. Kwacha, in a video interview released to newsmen at the State House in Abuja, describes the report in some sections of the media as sensational and a gross misrepresentation of the Vice President's speech. Vice President Shettima, during the launch of the book OPL 245, the inside story of the $1.3 billion oil block on Thursday, had recalled the role played by Mr. Mohammed Adoke and some individuals during the administration of former President Goodluck Jonathan, who attempted to remove him from office when he was governor of Borno State at the height of the insurgency in the northeast region.
Let me put it for the records that this Vice President is totally in support of the actions taken in Rivers State. This Vice President has never questioned the action of Mr. President and would never do that. This Vice President said that, look, that there was an attempt to remove him from office by the then President of Nigeria, President Goodluck Jonathan. What we have in play today is suspension of a governor, right? Suspension of the government of Simfubara in Rivers State. It is totally different from the attempted removal of the then Governor Kashim Shettima in Borno State. And I think we must give accolades to the President, because if not for his actions, if not for the bold decision he took in Rivers State, by now nobody would have been discussing about Simfubara. He would have been perpetually impeached. Impeached means, look, there wouldn't have been any space for him to come back. And so if you have a situation where you have discussions, as it is being alleged, going on to bring him back, I mean, it gives some accolade that, look, that this president exercised wisdom. Because otherwise, by now, Simfubara would have been gone. And nobody would have been talking about his coming back. But through that action, you can see that, look, that there's opportunity for the governor to come back. Secondly, again, is the calm and peace that has returned to Rivers State ever since this particular president took this action. We have seen stability in Rivers State. We have seen calmness return to Rivers State against the destruction of properties, both at the state level and, of course, some of our national assets being destroyed at that point in time.
Now to Osun State, where the 2026 governorship election race has started gathering momentum as insurance magnate Dr. Akin Umbi has formally declared his intention to run under the platform of the All Progressives Congress. Dr. Umbi also led his team in supporters from the People's Democratic Party, the PDP, to join the APC.
A large crowd of party loyalists and supporters gather at the APC Osun State Secretariat in Osogbo, the state capital. A prominent politician in the state, Dr. Akin Umbi, is declaring his interest to run for the 2026 governorship election on the platform of the party. The chairman of Osun State chapter of the APC, Tajuddin Lawal, is leading the party officials to welcome Dr. Umbi and his supporters into the fold of the APC.
I'm declaring for APC because APC is a progressive.
Speaking with newsmen at the occasion, Dr. Umbi notes that he's encouraged to join the APC because of the performance of President Bola Tinubu, as he promises to bring his wealth of experience to bear in developing Osun State.
The current governor is struggling to come to APC, whereas APC is a winning team, and we can see what is happening in the federal level, what Ababa, the president, is doing at the national level. So I'm not surprised that not only in Osun State, but even across the other states, people are declaring for APC because APC is a progressive and is a winning team. Bola Ahmed Tinubu, APC-led government will bring development to the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Every sector, every state, every local government positively touched by the development agenda of our president. What other proof do you need? I become, by God's grace, a unified factor for APC in Osun. So my chances are very, very high and are very, very bright.
The Independent National Electoral Commission had earlier announced Saturday, August 8th, 2026, date for the Osun State governorship election, and all stakeholders have started strategizing towards attaining the number on positions in the state.
Senior advocate of Nigeria, Mr. Mike Ozekome, believes that Nigeria's constitution puts too much of a financial toll on the country's purse, and the patriots, who are convening a national constitutional summit next week, are pushing for it to be reviewed in order to change Nigeria's fortunes for the better. Mr. Ozekome, while speaking on our political program, Politics Today, also says Nigeria's system of government puts too much power at the center and suggests that a parliamentary system would better suit the country.
Last year we met Mr. President. He listened to us carefully, but it was his opinion then that yes, your goal, your mission is great, is good, but I do not see it now as the urgency of now. I'm more preoccupied by other matters of state. That was his view. But we are going to push now to say, Mr. President, sir, like we told you that time, you cannot pretend that you can solve these problems with the present fundamentally flawed structure that we have, where we are actually operating a unitary system of government instead of a federal system. For a diverse country, nation like Nigeria, with multi-ethnic groups, different religions, different nuances and cultures, you need a constitution that aggregates them without any of them feeling marginalized. The present constitution does not. The present constitution actually disincentivizes federative units from being productive because too much power is concentrated at the center. The present presidential constitution, modeled after America, United States of America, is too expensive for us to maintain. We use about 70 to 80% for our national budget on recurrent expenditure and servicing of debts, leaving only 20 to 30% for capital expenditure. That cannot lead us anywhere. A parliamentary system of government is less expensive, but more effective.
As efforts are geared towards reforming the mining sector, well, the long arm of the law may soon catch up with states meddling in mining activities. As the Minister of Solid Minerals Development, Dele Alaki, says President Bola Tinubu has now given him the backing to go after such state governments. While speaking at a ministerial retreat organized by the Ministry of Solid Minerals Development in Abuja, Mr. Alaki lamented that state governments have been issuing directives and regulating mining operations despite clear terms of the 1999 Constitution, which vests sole power on mining matters on the federal government. Meanwhile, the House of Representatives is lamenting the attitude of some foreign nationals, disclosing that 2 Chinese companies owe the federal government over 15 billion naira in value-added tax. Our correspondent, Kumbi Abuluade, reports.
Thank you very much.
The Federal Ministry of Solid Minerals Development is hosting this ministerial retreat to ensure officials at the ministry understand and fulfill their duties in alignment with President Bola Tinubu's 8 key priorities, particularly those related to unlocking energy and natural resources for sustainable development.
Ministry of Solid Minerals.
Themed, delivering on the 8 presidential priorities, the retreat is attended by officials of the ministry and federal lawmakers.
This retreat comes at a very crucial moment where we all are looking and working very hard to position Nigeria as a globally competitive mining destination.
According to data from the ministry, the sector in 2024 recorded $800 million in foreign direct investment and generated a total revenue of 38 billion naira, compared to the 6 billion naira generated in 2023. While pledging to support efforts to increase investment in the sector, federal lawmakers raise a point of concern.
The Senate remains committed to continue collaboration with the Ministry of Solid Minerals in achieving these lofty objectives.
As a House, over the past couple of months, we've embarked on a number of investigations. 2 foreign companies actually looked at us and told us that they do not pay VAT. And when we calculated their VAT liability, it's running into an excess of 12 billion naira. Now, these are monies that would accrue to the account of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And of course, it's because of our resources that are being exploited.
Apparently, the challenge is beyond foreign companies, as the minister reveals the order issued by President Bola Tinubu to the ministry on how to manage the sector.
We've been witnessing subnational authorities, state governments, issuing all kinds of regulations, suspension of mining operations, banning of mining operations, and the like. I have informed Mr. President of this problem, and I've received his direct blessing to go out and be very, very tough on this. And in the coming days and weeks, you'll be hearing more about our activities regarding this.
The minister also explains ongoing efforts to enhance local capacity to improve solid minerals production in Nigeria. From Abuja, Kumbi Aboluade, Channels Television News.
In part 2 after the break, Lagos ready to elect new local government chairmen and councillors as residents of the state vote this Saturday, July the 12th. Please stay with us. Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 on Channels Television, broadcasting live from Lagos. A reminder of our top stories. Edo State Governor Monday Okpebholo draws the line, says he will probe his predecessor Godwin Obaseki. This is coming 24 hours after the Supreme Court affirmed him as duly elected governor. Some elder statesmen under the aegis of the Patriots indicate that they will convene a national conference this month to discuss restructuring of Nigeria and birth a new constitution. Minister of Solid Minerals Development Dele Alake said to reform the mining sector, hints that the federal government will go after state governments meddling in mining activities. And U.S. President Donald Trump and his wife Melania visit flood-ravaged Central Texas, where 120 people were killed last week. Residents of Lagos will tomorrow, Saturday, July the 12th, elect new leadership at the local government level. This upcoming election is more than just another political exercise, as it offers another unique opportunity for all stakeholders in the state to contribute their quota to deepen democracy at the grassroots, being the closest tier of government to the people. Local governments, no doubt, play critical roles in the democratic process and governance in general. It's at this level that the decisions that have a far-reaching impact on the people are taken, and the election will take place in 20 local government councils as well as 37 local council development areas, where 57 chairmanship and 376 councillorship positions are up for grabs. In the meantime, the Lagos State Independent Electoral Commission says it's ready to conduct the exercise that will hold between 6 a.m. and 3 p.m. tomorrow. We sincerely apologize for the loss of audio in that report. Meanwhile, the Lagos State Police Command has revised the movement restriction ahead of the July 12th local government election, with movement now restricted from 6 a.m. to 3 p.m. instead of the earlier 3 a.m. to 3 p.m. schedule. Now, the revised directive was announced in a statement by the Police Public Relations Officer, CSP Benjamin Hundeyin, on behalf of the Commissioner of Police, Lagos State Command. Now, the statement noted that the change aims to ease the movement for residents with medical emergencies, appointments, and international travel plans. The revision comes less than 24 hours after the command's initial announcement. And the police, therefore, has urged the public to cooperate with security agencies and adhere to the new timing to ensure a smooth and secure election. The Dangote Refinery has opened its gates to a select group of 24 of Africa's top business leaders as part of the 2025 Global CEO Africa program by the Lagos Business School. This visit offers 24 CEOs a close look at one of Africa's largest industrial projects.
The Dangote Refinery landfall is the first port of call for the 2025 Global CEO Africa program by the Lagos Business School. Designed for top executives across Africa, the program offers a platform to engage with Africa's success stories, and one of those stories is the iconic Dangote Petroleum Refinery. From the jetty at the Dangote Quay Free Zone to the fertilizer plant, producing nearly 7,000 metric tons per day, a tour of the tank farms, the central laboratory, and the state-of-the-art master control room gave 24 CEOs from 6 countries across Africa first-hand exposure to one of Africa's most ambitious projects.
The whole idea is to enable him, mentor, and challenge the upcoming business leaders to go even further. Africa has all the resources. We have excellent human resources, human capital. We need to be courageous, fearless, courageous, ambitious, and audacious, bold in execution.
The highlight of the visit is a session with the president of the Dangote Group, Alhaji Aliko Dangote, as he shares his journey, lessons, and what it takes to build a legacy from the ground up.
Building this refinery, for us as a company, it has actually taken out a lot of fears. From the mines, we don't really fear anything now. We have delivered this, and we believe that we can deliver anything. That is why, even as a company today, what we are saying that yes, we are working on some gas availability, and our fertilizer company, we want to make it the biggest urea production company in the world, and we're giving ourselves 40 months to do so.
Bringing the CEOs to the refinery is a deliberate move by the Lagos Business School to expand their perspective on what is possible in Africa.
Running a program such as the GCU aligns with our objective of ensuring that we're bringing leadership Pan-Africa. It's first of all a cross-cultural exchange and to learn from one another and to recognize and identify what are the nuances of doing business in Africa from that practical standpoint.
If there's anything, and I'm sure everyone is taking away from this program and this visit, is we have to be bold, we have to be courageous, and we have to think of sustainable national development as part of our business practices.
This visit to the Dangote Petroleum Refinery provides an opportunity for the CEOs in Cohort 5 to see up close the scale and ambition of one of Africa's most transformative industrial projects, serving as both an inspiration and a challenge to them.
In a renewed commitment to environmental sustainability, Renaissance Africa Energy Company Limited is engaging key stakeholders in Bayelsa State to develop a biodiversity action plan for its Southern Swamp Associated Gas Gathering project. The company says it's determined to leave a net positive impact on the environment and is working closely with host communities, academia, and government for a bottom-up approach in its conservation plans.
With the natural ecosystem of the Niger Delta undergoing pressure from industrial activity, Renaissance Africa Energy Company Limited has taken a different approach, one that seeks to give more than it takes. At a stakeholder engagement meeting in Yenagoa, the company unveils its biodiversity action plan for the Southern Swamp Associated Gas Gathering Solution, designed to mitigate the environmental impact of its operations, with centers on preserving the flora and fauna in oil-bearing communities.
We strongly believe that instead of coming from the top and saying this is what we want done, we will come to you who own the villages and the environment and ask you what animals are in your area, what plants are in your area, how many have died out, what are the issues. Then we can pick what you have. We intend to go from bottoms up. We want to hear from you what good looks like in biodiversity. We want to do what is scientifically possible. So we have the academia present here.
The Bayelsa State government expresses support for the initiative, calling on local communities to take full advantage of the economic and environmental benefits the project brings.
For some people, they need this simple opportunity to project them to where they need to go to. And our people are in dire need. Exploration activities have really caused damage to our environment. So when we see things like this come up, discussions like this come up, we want to always plead with our people. Please make good use of this opportunity to discuss on salient issues. Present your best people forward to discuss. Let us not always think of the one that we are going to eat today, but the one that we will plant for the rest of the years to take care of not just us, but also our society and our people.
Community members, particularly those living in the creeks and swamp areas, say they are already seeing signs of inclusion and education.
So the program, as it's going on, we are learning some certain things, and we are seeing their screen and what they are planning to do on our environment to assist the communities.
Meanwhile, experts from the academic community stress the urgent need to protect the region's rare and endangered species, including a unique monkey population only found in the area.
Now, because people have criticized them so much, now they want to wake up and take some proactive measure to stop damaging the biodiversity in the area.
With conservationists, communities, and corporate stakeholders now aligned, Renaissance Africa Energy is signaling a new era where oil and gas development no longer spells doom for biodiversity, but instead opens a path for sustainable coexistence.
Still ahead on the news at 10, Niger's stock market posts 3.464 trillion naira gain in 5 days as its benchmark performance indicator reaches historic highs in 2 consecutive days. That's on Business News. Please join us again. Welcome back. Let's now head to the nation's capital, and Gloria Umezoke is standing by to give us the latest from our Abuja studios. Hello, Gloria.
Thank you, Ayo. Well, we'll begin with politics, where oftentimes we say is local. While the All Progressives Congress continue to reap the benefits that political power brings, states controlled by the ruling party are reminded by the federal government not to rest on their laurels, but intensify efforts to take the message of renewed hope to people at the grassroots. Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mr. Mohammed Idris, made this known at a gathering of state commissioners for information in Minna, the Niger state capital.
Commissioners of information from states controlled by the All Progressives Congress converged on Minna, the Niger state capital, at the instance of the Progressives Governors Forum. The strategic meeting seeks to deepen public understanding of the renewed hope agenda of President Bola Tinubu.
This meeting must therefore not be another roundtable of ideas alone, but a crucible of collaboration. Together we must tell a unified story.
The purpose of this conference reflects a recognition of a shared responsibility of effectively communicating the goals, achievements, and promises of our renewed hope agenda to every citizen in every community across the length and breadth of our nation.
The Minister of Information listed some of the administration's key achievements, including the removal of fuel subsidy to fund major infrastructure, over 900,000 beneficiaries of the presidential grant scheme, the 1.5 trillion naira capitalization of the Bank of Agriculture, and over 300,000 students benefiting from the student loan scheme. The minister believes these are indicative of the administration's commitment to build a prosperous and inclusive Nigeria.
We are also witnessing steady investment in the provision of social services and the increase in monthly allocation to the subnational, the state governments and the local governments, which is enabling them to embark on projects that are already having transformative impacts across sectors, from roads to hospitals and to agriculture.
The meeting is also hoping to tackle fake news and promote positive public engagement.
Our task as information managers is not only to publicize the achievements of our respective government, but also to counter misinformation, shape constructive public discourse, and align the state narrative with collective progress ideas for national development and security.
With a unified voice and coordinated strategy, the commissioners agreed to drive the renewed hope message to the very last mile to ensure that every Nigerian benefits from it. The federal government is collaborating with Spark Global to train and educate local African scientists to directly address the health needs of the continent. This was announced at a media briefing by the Presidential Initiative for Unlocking the Healthcare Value Chain and the National Institute for Pharmaceutical Research and Development in Abuja. Spark Global is a non-profit organization that supports local programs at academic and non-profit institutions seeking to turn innovative ideas into solutions for patients and society.
In a significant stride towards healthcare innovation and self-reliance in Nigeria, the federal government, through the Presidential Initiative on Unlocking the Healthcare Value Chain and the National Institute for Pharmaceutical Research and Development, have announced a strategic collaboration to host a boot camp that will empower African scientists to address the continent's health needs directly. The event, which will hold in Abuja from February the 2nd to the 6th, 2026, will convene scientists from across African universities and research institutes for hands-on training and collaboration using the Spark Translational Research Model.
Our main goal from this is to expose our scientists and researchers to the best capabilities out there in the world, to mingle with the best scientists across the world. And our scientists are really also, many of them are world-class, but there are some constraints here and there. So I think that forging that collaboration so that they can learn, they can be trained, and they can have access to wider networks, resources that they can mobilize going into the future for additional work and for building some of the capabilities that they need in their scientists. And then, of course, for all of that to translate into actual discoveries.
The program is embedded within a 2-year program, which provides mentorship, which provides access to investors, provides access to collaborators across the world, not just in Africa, access to settings where you get different sorts of equipment.
Spark provides access to specialized knowledge and technical expertise regarding drug and diagnostic development and sources of funding to support translational efforts, and the collaboration seeks to build a local self-sustaining discovery that addresses Africa's health and social economic challenges.
Nigeria is going to host the 3rd boot camp of Spark in Africa, where we have members from 10 or 12 countries within Africa coming to Nigeria to learn about how to get started with translating new ideas from academia into products that benefit patients and society.
The Spark Nigeria program, which will also be inaugurated at the end of the program, is expected to highlight the federal government's priorities on research and development for effective healthcare delivery.
Samsung Electronics has unveiled the highly expected Galaxy Z Fold 7, Galaxy Z Flip 7, and Galaxy Z Flip 7 FE series of phones, announcing the arrival of a new era for AI-powered smartphones and foldable mobile innovations. The company says the communication devices are packed with cutting-edge features and sleek engineering designed to redefine productivity, creativity, and personalization for the modern user.
The mobile experience, Samsung Electronics West Africa.
This event to herald the arrival of Samsung's Galaxy's new entrance into the market starts with a briefing.
The enhancements that you have on the Ultra series, you now have them on the foldable series.
After that, management of the company, distributors, entertainers, and socialites gather to welcome the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 7 and Z Flip 7 series of phones. The Chief Executive Officer, Samsung Galaxy West Africa, Mr. Tyson Lee, welcomes everyone to the event.
It's time to witness the Ultra unfold. Enjoy this afternoon.
The gathering equally affords guests the rare opportunity to have a first-hand feel of Samsung's latest devices.
What we've done this time around is to actually stamp our feet in the sands of time, to actually indicate the fact and, of course, make the statement that when it comes to the foldable series, we are actually #1 globally.
What sets this current rollout apart would be, one, we're merging the finest of engineering and fine artistry as only Samsung can.
Some of the features of the new Samsung Galaxy Z Fold and Flip series include NOx-enhanced encrypted protection, post-quantum cryptography, audio eraser, and more.
Samsung is all about delivering its brand purpose, and that is innovation for all. And we are delivering this brand purpose through the promises that we've made to our consumer, ensuring that they can enhance their lifestyle with the innovation that we bring to board.
I feel very proud that Samsung has been able to achieve these great innovations and bring better customer experience and value to this Nigerian market.
My dad taught me all about this craft. The Galaxy Z Fold 7 and Flip 7 series are durable to enhance daily life with a restructured fulcrum, reinforced display layers, and premium materials designed to fold, flex, and perform on the go, at work, or in a creative studio, and built to move confidently with you.
Now, it's been almost 2 years since his unfortunate passing, but it appears this case is far from over. At this time, the coroner's court inquiring into the death of the late Nigerian singer Ileri Oluwa Aloba, popularly known as Mubad, has ruled out foul play or homicide in his death. Magistrate Adedayo Shotobi, who delivered her findings today at the magistrate court sitting in Ikorodu, Lagos, however, held that the actions of the auxiliary nurse were both unlawful and professionally negligent. The coroner recommended the criminal prosecution of the nurse, Feisayo Ogudengbe, for medical misadventure or negligence for misadministering an injection on the singer without a doctor's prescription. Other findings of the coroner were that Mubad's petition to the police on assault, intimidation, and others against Naira Marley and Sam Larry ought to be a subject of proper investigation in the light of revelations during the coroner proceedings. The coroner also blamed Mubad's father for the hasty burial of the late singer without first insisting on an autopsy. Mubad's wife was also blamed for treating her late husband at home rather than rushing him to the hospital for proper medical treatment. Social media representations of the incident through influencers and content creators were also said to have misrepresented facts about the ongoing coroner proceedings in a manner prejudicial to the integrity of the court. The coroner's findings also made other recommendations on improved service delivery and quality in the healthcare system of the country, as well as the response of law enforcement agencies in ensuring the safety of members of the society. And that's it on the nation's capital. It's over now to Dominic Iwoiwo in Lagos for business news.
Thank Thank you, Gloria. Welcome to Business News. The Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, says it is targeting to raise the country's oil production outputs to 2 million barrels per day by 2027, as current output rises to 1.63 million barrels per day. The NNPCL Group Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Bayo Julari, who made this known in a statement issued at the end of the 9th OPEC International Seminar in Vienna, capital of Austria, also said there are plans to increase gas production to 10 billion cubic feet by target year, up from the current 7 billion cubic feet per day. He also hinted of a possible sale of the country's non-performing refineries, such as Warri, Port Harcourt and Kaduna refineries, as the NNPCL undertakes a full review of its downstream operations for this year. The Corporate Affairs Commission, CAC, says it plans to upgrade its portal to improve and simplify the registration of businesses and accelerate approvals. According to the statement issued today by the Registrar General and CEO of CAC, Hussaini Magaji, the portal optimization initiative is part of its efforts to complete overhaul of the company's registration portal. The announcement comes days after the CAC unveiled a new artificial intelligence-driven registration portal. Mr. Magaji explained that business owners can now begin registration using only the national identification number of a director or proprietor, and that the CAC will launch a mobile app in the last quarter of this year. Now, Bitcoin extended its rally today, rising to new records overnight after exchange-traded funds saw their biggest day of inflows for the year. According to Coinmetrics, the price of the flagship cryptocurrency was last higher by 3% at $117,229.10. The rally began more slowly on Wednesday following the release of the minutes of the latest Federal Reserve meeting, which showed a divergence among officials about how aggressively they would be willing to cut interest rates. Another milestone was recorded at the Nigerian Exchange Limited today as the all-share index crossed and surpassed the 126,000 level for the first time ever today. This comes less than a day after the benchmark indicator of equities performance hit the 124,000 mark on Thursday, with the market gaining more than 3.464 trillion naira in 5 positive trading sessions this week. Inijo Mekwa tells us more.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Stock Market Report. I am happy to report a very green market at the close of Friday's trade in Nigeria. Over 1 trillion naira has been added to the market cap. We're really close to 80 trillion naira. Hopefully, we will hit that very soon. The all-share is up 1.37% at 126,149.57. We did about 3 steps this week. New record highs. That's what the market is doing to investors' fund at this time. And then we look at the details now to see who's driving the sector tells us banking is really doing it. It's the only green of the major sectors, and it's up 5.61%. So who's driving that? A lot of news has been going on around the big banks, and I believe that's what investors are listening to. So MBN Holding is up, and then UBA, remember, they did tell us about their expansion to other parts of the continent. Of course, investors are happy with that. So it's up almost 10%. GTCO, since that listing on London Exchange, well, the move hasn't stopped. So they are still up. Accessco and Zenith Bank, after clarifying the forbearance, investors have just been happy with them. So these are the guys that have moved the market into the very green zone at the close of trade. And the market, of course, closes in the green to the joy and the victory of the bull.
Look at the snapshots of closing figures of some of the world's major stock markets for Friday. And that's it on business news. Back to Ayotunde for the rest of the news at 10.
Many thanks, Dominic. U.S. President Donald Trump and his wife Melania are both visiting Central Texas, where flash floods has killed at least 120 people, with 161 others still missing. Here's Simon Pusey with more international news and around the world in 5 from our London studio.
Good evening and welcome to the Channel studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. The US President Donald Trump has said he will send weapons, including Patriot air defense systems, for Ukraine via NATO. His announcement came after Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky spoke of having a positive dialogue with Mr. Trump on ensuring that arms arrive on time, particularly air defense systems.
And this is pure terrorism.
Zelensky said he had asked for 10 Patriot systems after a surge in Russian drone and missile attacks on Ukrainian cities in the past week. Speaking in Rome, the Ukrainian leader said Germany was ready to pay for 2 of the Patriot, while other European partners were also prepared to help. Doctors have warned of an imminent disaster at Gaza's largest functioning hospital because of critical shortage of fuel and a widening Israeli ground offensive in the city of Khan Yunis. Nasser Medical Complex was forced to stop admitting patients on Thursday when witnesses said Israeli troops and tanks advanced into a cemetery 200 meters away and fired towards nearby camps for displaced families. The forces reportedly withdrew on Friday after digging up several areas. Medical staff and dozens of patients in intensive care remain inside the hospital, where the fuel shortage threatens to shut down life-saving services. Israel believes that Iran could potentially retrieve enriched uranium buried beneath one of the 3 facilities struck by US forces last month. That's according to a senior Israeli official. The official said that reaching the enriched uranium at Isfahan would be extremely difficult, and any attempt would prompt renewed Israeli strikes. Donald Trump has repeatedly claimed that US air and missile strikes on Iran in June obliterated the country's nuclear facilities, even as some US intelligence agencies have taken a more cautious view. Iran denies seeking to develop nuclear weapons and says its enrichment of uranium is for peaceful purposes. There are reasonable grounds to believe war crimes and crimes against humanity are being committed in Western Sudan. That's according to the International Criminal Court at the United Nations Security Council. Targeted sexual violence against women and girls of specific ethnicities was named as one of the most disturbing findings to emerge from an ICC investigation into crimes committed in Darfur. War broke out between the Sudanese army and the Rapid Support Forces in April 2023, leading to what the UN calls devastating civilian casualties.
On the basis of our independent investigations, the position of our office is clear. We have reasonable grounds to believe that war crimes and crimes against humanity have been and are continuing to be committed in Darfur. This conclusion is grounded on the intensive activities that the office has been undertaking in the last 6 months and in earlier reporting periods. In this work, we have relied on documentary, testimonial, and digital evidence collected and analyzed by the office. In the last 6 months, these activities focused in particular on crimes committed in West Darfur, and they have included repeated field deployments to refugee camps in Chad, to engage with victim communities, and to conduct witness interviews.
A Texas firefighter asked if emergency flood alerts could be sent to Kerr County residents about an hour before the first warnings were received.
Is there any way we can send a code red out to our Hunt residents asking them to find higher ground or stay home?
10-4 standby. We have to get that approved with our supervisor.
Some residents received the alert an hour later. For others, it took up to 6 hours, according to reports.
We now come to the star lot of this sale, lot 8.
And the original Birkin bag, which set the template for arguably the most coveted accessory in fashion history, has been bought for €8.6 million, becoming the most valuable handbag ever sold at auction. The black leather bag was made for singer Jane Birkin in 1985 after she spilled her belongings while sitting next to the boss of a luxury fashion house on an aeroplane.
€7 million, jette juge maintenant, et c'est bien vu à 7 millions.
The prototype he made was sold to a private collector from Japan, far surpassing the previous record. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the Channel studios in Lagos.
Thank you, Simon. Welcome to Sports News. Super Falcons head coach Justin Madugu admits there is still more work to do as the team labored to a 1-0 win against Botswana in their second Group B game in Casablanca, Morocco. In his post-match reaction, Coach Madugu is assuring Nigeria's football fans that they will see a much better team against Algeria on Sunday.
It is always work in progress. Even if we score 10 goals, it doesn't mean we will not make mistakes and there will not be things that we still need to work on. So as we keep playing, we watch everybody. There are individual errors that will be corrected. There are team errors that we still have to work on. It's still work in progress. And certainly, when you have a lot of players like that, and you need to also give others a chance. So certainly we will make some changes in the last game against Algeria. That is not to say we are presenting any team that is weak. All the players that are here are quite capable of playing in all the matches. So even when we make those changes, obviously we have to manage our players very well because we are looking at playing 6 games.
Crystal Palace have been demoted from the Europa League to the Conference League by UEFA for a breach of multi-club ownership rules. U.S. businessman John Textor owns a stake in the Eagles and is the majority owner of French club Lyon, who have also qualified for the Europa League. Under UEFA multi-club ownership rules, Lyon have been allowed to keep their place in the second-tier competition of European football as they finished higher in Ligue 1. 6th place than Palace, 12th in the Premier League last season.
Thank you, Chris. And the main news again. The Edo State Governor Monday Okpebholo today drew the line, said he will probe his predecessor Godwin Obaseki. Now, the governor made the comments in Benin City, the Edo State capital, during the reception organized for him after the Supreme Court affirmed him as duly elected governor. And also today, some elder statesmen under the aegis of the Patriots have announced or have indicated that they will convene a national conference this month to discuss restructuring of Nigeria and the birth of a new constitution. That's the news at 10 tonight. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Ayo Tunde Balu. Do have a good night.